Hello everybody, my name is The Traveler and welcome to Angels with Scaly Wings. So this is a game on Steam that my friend told me about and he really wanted me to play it. I'm not really sure too much about it, so we're just gonna kind of jump right in. I know it's got something to do with dragons and I think there's murders going on, but let's get started. Detecting user profile. User profile not found. Please enter your name. The Traveler. Oh, okay. Traveler. Choose a color. Oh, gonna go with red being my favorite. Does this look right? Traveler. In red. Yeah, let's go with that. User profile confirmed. Before we start, please review the following information. Controls. Use left click or enter to advance text and select menu options. Press space to advance text only. This is useful to avoid making a selection by mistake. Cool. Escape or right click brings up a menu. F toggles full screen. Use the mouse wheel or page up and page down to view past messages and rewind. Hold control and press tab to skip seen messages. S takes a screenshot. That's going to be useful. Middle click or H hides the text. Excuse me. If you wish to view this information again, you can do so from the main menu. Cool. That would be all. Well, thank you, system. Here is 20XX. Only recently has humanity discovered a portal that leads into a different world, populated with a race of intelligent, talking dragons. Every scaly furry's dream. I was one of the few to travel to this world, but maybe I should start at the beginning. It all began when we discovered a strange device in the middle of nowhere during one of our expeditions, a portal. I had heard about similar technology before, though that had been more on an experimental level. From what I knew, other portals had been created in the past and were under consideration for mass application. As for this one in particular, though, we did not know who had built it, nor when or why we found it, in the wilderness where we did. What was more exciting to us was the fact that it was functional. After our first test, we found there was someone else on the other side who was in possession of a similar portal, and our attempts at communication through letters were successful. But in the end, the machine's extraordinary demand for power meant we needed to act quickly, as we wouldn't be able to keep the portal open much longer. When we made this known to the other side, we received a very unexpected reply. A letter of invitation. After some deliberation, it was decided to accept the hospitality and send a person to the other side. There was an individual who took the job almost immediately. This guy. Razor Izquierdo. Razor Izquierdo. I knew him, or rather had known him. We attended the same school back then, or so wasn't me yet, and even had a few classes together. We never really were very close friends, but we talked to each other occasionally and hung around with the same crowd sometimes. However, we still went our separate ways in the end. I wasn't sure what to think about the whole thing, but he had to have known what he was doing. He certainly was brave. Either that, or just very, very foolish. While I wasn't sure which, his courage was applauded by others. After all, he couldn't possibly have known who or what would await him at the other end of the portal. And if he did meet someone there, who knew what kinds of intentions they might have? Not that any speculation on our part would have made a difference. When the day finally came, though, he went, with applause echoing across the area, equipped only with the clothes he wore, his multi-tool, a gun, and a device on his wrist that acted as a PDA. Then we waited. The crowd that was applauding him slowly dispersed when the enthusiasm died down, as there was nothing for us to do but wait and speculate. Approximately 8 hours later, we received our first message from him. While he had assumed the portal led to another in a different country, or maybe on a different continent, the reality turned out to be much more foreign. The situation he described to us was so outlandish that we initially took it as a joke. A very bad joke, maybe, with even worse timing and no punchline at all. It soon became clear to us, though, that we may just have made one of the most important discoveries since the dawn of mankind. Finding the portal had been remarkable in itself, but this took it to a completely different level. From what he described about the place, or more accurately, its inhabitants, we surmised it could not be part of Earth at all. We called them dragons because, according to Reza, that's what they were, or at least that's what they resembled most. Even though we found it hard to believe, it had been these dragons who sent us all the letters. And what Reza found on the other side of the portal was a whole civilization of them. They could talk, write books, had buildings and electricity. In many ways, their society was actually very similar to our own. So who were they? And where was this place? Could they be aliens? Our speculations led us to conclude otherwise. After all, we knew about the existence of thousands of planets millions of light years away that may have been theoretically habitable. Yet even then, we had never found conclusive proof in regards to actual alien life forms. That's because they're millions of light years away. Some people brought up quantum mechanics and parallel universes, but in the end, all of this was just conjecture and an ultimately fruitless endeavor, since we neither had the means nor the resources to explore these possibilities in greater detail. I don't know if you can see that, but a chat thing popped up. I had to close it. I think there's just one more thing worth mentioning before I move on. The previous isolation had been mutual. They hadn't known about any other intelligent life form beyond their own. Their portal had only recently been discovered and was a technology previously unknown to them. And just as we had myths about dragons, they had myths about us. That was what we knew about them so far. And as interesting as learning those things and debating their cultural significance was, we didn't really know what we should make of it all. Reza apparently was sure of what he was doing, though, as he eventually let us know that they had agreed on a trade. We were to give them a few of our PDA devices, which contained vast amounts of knowledge, dwarfing even that of encyclopedias. In return, they would supply us with generators. Overall, they didn't seem as technologically advanced as we had been, but they did surpass us in that one aspect. Their means of generating energy seemed sustainable. Not only that, but evidently also quite efficient. We certainly would be able to put technology like that to good use, and trading mere past knowledge of the human race for something more tangible was a good call on his part. That was where I came in. My prior experience in both biology and sociology made me a good fit to deliver our PDA devices for the trade. And while in the Dragon's world, waiting for the prototypes of our generators to be manufactured by them, I would act as an ambassador on humanity's behalf. What a way to make a first impression by a display of mutual goodwill. Everyone benefits and everyone goes home happy. All is well. At least, that was the plan. Despite despite the images that living, talking dragons might conjure up in some people's minds. I didn't even think of bringing a weapon myself, considering that they were reportedly friendly and peaceful enough. There was no need for me to fear potential ill intentions like Razor did when he had stepped into unknown territory. Acting as humanity's ambassador, I had to do my best to uphold a high standard in fostering this diplomatic relationship. When the time came for me to step through the portal, all my mental preparedness vanished. My anxiousness was fueled by all the questions lurking in my head just as the machine started to do its work. Would it hurt? Who would I meet on the other side? What if they really weren't so friendly and just made Weezer write those letters, with the pretense of appearing friendly only to lure us into the den of man-eating monsters and certain doom? With us ending up as nothing more than a tasty afternoon snack. Maybe I should have brought a weapon after all. Suddenly, I felt a shiver coursing throughout my whole body and beyond when I disintegrated, as if every cell, every atom of my body was torn from me and pulled into a different direction. I saw darkness and light, painting patterns in the stars as I traveled, and images rapidly flashed before me of things unseen and unspoken, both horrifying and beautiful. It was an experience unlike any other, yet over in just a split second. Then it was dark. I could only see a patch of light or color contrasting with its dark surroundings as my vision started to clear. Its edges got sharper as the patch of light slowly took shape, giving me the distinguished outline of a reptilian head and an array of horns sprouting from it. It's so cute! It was a dragon. And as I could now see, a dragon who not only had a pair of round glasses, but also wore a burgundy tie around its neck. Remy, in the name of our people, I bid you welcome. If I may introduce myself, I am Remy, your guide and ambassador, a representative of our council. The dragon spoke. There was one thing to have heard and read about this, but something else entirely to have one standing in front of me in flesh and blood and tongue. It was good that all my mental preparedness had disappeared when I was teleported, because nothing could have prepared me for this. Sorry, I imagine you might still feel the effects of the teleportation. Drowsiness or weakness is not unusual, as is fainting and spontaneous emptying of your bowels, bladder, or stomach. How do you feel? Rendered speechless, I had totally forgotten that I was shouldering the burden of representing my people to them as well. So much for being professional. But at least he gave me a good excuse for my blunder. I think I'm alright. Well, I am glad to hear that. Maybe we should go before it gets too dark. Come with me, please. So I followed the dragon, not straying too far from him as the sun had already departed for the day, and the remaining light diminished by the minute. It is getting hard to see where I'm going. Sorry about that, but we had a good reason to schedule your arrival like this. We did not want you to be ambushed by a crowd, so we had to keep your exact time and date of arrival secret. Thanks. I suppose an event like this would make me a celebrity of sorts. It would be the same if one of you came to us. That's quite an understatement. Some people here are rather superstitious. They might regard you or any of your kind as divine, I suppose. Really? How so? We do have certain myths that involve humans, and as such... Oh, I suppose the history lesson will have to wait for another time. Here we are. By this point, it had gotten so dark that I could barely make out the building before us. I briefly wondered whether they might have streetlights elsewhere, or if they just did not require any due to possible enhanced eyesight or night vision. I could vaguely see the dragon, his light color still visible within the blackness that engulfed the area. Rear up, rear up and manipulate the door handle with one of his forepaws. My brain went completely elsewhere with that. Ooh. Hinges creaking, the door opened, and with the flick of a switch, the apartment was flooded with light, blinding me after all the time we had just spent without it. This is where you will live for the time being. It is fully stocked, but in case you need anything else, I left you a note with a few phone numbers. Phone? You have phones? It is getting rather late, so I will have to take my leave now. In any case, someone will come and meet you in the morning. Thank you, Remy. Have a good night. Until we meet again. Excuse me. With a nod, Remy left the apartment, mindful enough to close the door behind himself. Surveying the room, and considered the events that had just transpired as my gaze met the window. I could see movement outside, and as I drew nearer, startled, I could hear footsteps in the grass, moving away quickly. Assuming it must have been the dragon I just met, I thought nothing of it, as I went to bed and slowly succumbed to the sweet allure of sleep overdue. I spent a few moments thinking about my role, my mission, and what it meant to be here now. I felt the responsibility placed on my shoulders. I was eager for the adventure to come. I get a choice here. Either I felt the responsibility placed on my shoulders, or I was eager for the adventure to come. I'm eager for this adventure to come. So many possibilities and prospects raced through my mind. Truth be told, the thought of being able to meet an entirely new species and civilization excited me, as I was going to be one of the first to truly experience a society with its own little quirks, differences, and similarities. I couldn't help but feel like some sort of modern Vasco da Gama. Ugh. Or Marco Polo. Maybe I would even write a book about the whole experience after it's all over. I was sure it would become a hit, all things considered. At any rate, this was going to be fun. Inception. Chapter 1. Inception. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I'm gonna read that, but I'm also gonna save because I'm out of time for this. Quick save completed. Quick load. Auto. Oh no, don't do that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read this and then resave, because I'm actually out of time for this episode. I really like this so far, but let me get to this. I awoke from uneasy dreams, looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. Just for a moment, I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. After a good stretch, I looked around the room, illuminated by the sunlight coming in from the window. Outside, in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. I like this music. This game is really cool so far, and I'm enjoying the writing. So, like I said, I'm going to leave the episode here because I'm out of time for it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, give that like button some love, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.